All right, good morning, guys. Welcome in. Welcome. Welcome, welcome. It is a beautiful Friday. I hope you guys had a nice Thursday. It's a new day, new levels. Let's dive into it. This morning's session, I don't know if you guys saw this, but we have big data. We also had something else on the docket today that I did not see. It's not on the Market Watch or economic calendar, but it was on the news this morning. It was on CNBC. We'll talk about that in a minute. Yeah, a lot to go over today. A lot of things happening, a lot of moving parts this morning. Where's the energy? Good morning, guys. We have 700 people here this morning and zero energy on this Friday. It's Friday, guys. It feels like a Monday. It's like a Monday. Welcome in. There we are. There's the energy. There's the energy. Okay. All right. Cool. This morning, some things happening. Right. Yesterday's session was ridiculous. Right. It was ridiculous. Even for me, I was just looking at the market yesterday. I don't know how I came out green yesterday. I'm just going to be transparent with you. I don't know how I look at the day yesterday, and I just don't know how I came out even slightly positive yesterday. It doesn't make any sense. Look at the market. The market was terrible. If you're an options trader yesterday, it was just terrible. It has to be one of the worst sessions that we've seen all year, which is not much to say because we only have like 6 days of trading data or even 5 days of trading data. But there was just nothing. It was nothing. You look at yesterday's session and it was ups and downs and ups and downs. I was long here, I was short there. I was long here, I was short there. I was short here. It's just too much going on with nothing happening on the market yesterday. So one of the worst days we've had in a while. But here's the thing. This is what's normal, right? Sometimes you get days like this. I mean, look at our day on Wednesday was beautiful. Remember, we longed the 691s. It was a nice big upside move, and then on Tuesday we had the short at the highs here. We shorted the 690.5s. We got a big downside move. We got trend on Tuesday. We got trend on Monday. We got trend on Wednesday. But yesterday was the first sign of, hey, no trend, right? There was no energy in the market. There was no direction, and this is what kills options traders. So we'll talk a little bit about that today, where the value of the market is. Look, it just because there's one choppy day on SPY doesn't mean SPY is a bad ticker to trade. It just means it's just was a bad ticker that day. So we'll talk about that today. We'll go over that and see what's happening here on the SPY chart. We'll go over what's happening here in Qs because QQQ, it was the same idea, right? Indices across the board were doing the same exact thing. So we'll talk about Qs today, where this can set up and where I'm looking for trades today here in Qs. And transparently, I'm not a big Qs trader, but we'll go over where levels are here on the QQQ, okay? We'll go over the IWM as well. I think IWM actually is really interesting because remember I said this, it's choppy when you're trading the wrong names to trade, right? And if you look at yesterday's session, it was choppy because we were just trading SPY, right? But look at the IWM. The IWM actually had a lot of value. This was a trend, right? There is trend somewhere. It's just a matter of how deep are you willing to look for it, right? How are you willing to sift through the tickers and find the right one that particular day? And yesterday it was the IWM. There were other names as well to trade yesterday, but it was far in view, right? The Appler I think was nice yesterday. Apple had a little bit of trend. You couldn't even call this trend, to be honest with you. But Apple, I'll talk about the levels today. I have a really big hold spot here in Apple, and this is my long spot now. My stop loss on that trade I mentioned to you guys is right under yesterday's lows. Just yesterday's session lows is my stop loss here, and that's all I have today here on Apple. So we'll go over that trade as well, and what I'm expecting out of this one on this Apple chart. We'll go over Amazon too. Amazon, of course. We'll go over Tesla. We'll go over Meta. We'll go over the whole lot this morning, and we'll have a nice pre-market to finish off our week for the first week of. This is the first real week of 2026. So let's go into our econ data earnings reports. We'll jump back out of here. So today's session, we had very big data about 10 minutes ago. The big data that was 10 minutes ago was the employment data. The employment data, I had someone in the chat who copy and pasted all the data, which was awesome, by the way. I appreciate that, but I don't know where it went. I saw it this morning, but then I lost it. Anyway, I do have the data anyway, so it's no big deal. The data that I have this morning for our employment data is as follows. Where is it? Where is it? I have it over here somewhere. It's on my Schwab. It's on my Thinkorswim platform here. For some reason, I should just have it screenshotted right before I start because it'll make it easier. But anyway, USA unemployment rate 4.4 versus 4.5. So again, that's 4.4 versus 4.5, slightly better on the employment data here on the unemployment. Okay. Besides that, we had that's really the biggest thing, guys. That's the biggest metric the market's looking at. It's 4.4 versus 4.5, right? And so I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna dive deeper into this. 4.4 versus 4.5. In terms of other data today, we do have more data at 10 o'clock. We have consumer sentiment. I am being told that we have more data at 10 a.m. as well. That's not here on the docket. It is something to do with tariffs. I don't have confirmation on this, so you have to forgive me on this. I don't have confirmation, but I believe we have 10 o'clock tariff data today as well. Be aware of that going into our session. I'll do more research and find out what it is, but again, keep that on the maybes, right, of the 10 o'clock data today. Okay. Besides that, earnings docket for today, we don't have any other. Yeah. Oh, that's what it is. Rick the Ruler, the tariff decision. That's what it is. 10 o'clock tariff decision. Rick the Ruler. Hit the nail on the head there. That's what it is. So just be aware of that. The market's going to react to that. Okay, the market's going to. You're going to be in. You're going to be in. This is what you're going to do, right? This is just our luck, right? You're going to be in 0DTE SPY or SPX or Nvidia 0DTE, and the next thing you know, at 10 o'clock, bam, right? Don't let that happen, right? Just be aware. At 10 o'clock, probably see some reaction to that. Okay, because of that data release, right? So. Besides that, what else do we have? So I want to go into this for a moment. I want to go into our econ calendar for next week. Today is Friday. On Fridays, I always go into next week's data. Just so you understand this, next week is going to be a very important week. On our Monday session, nothing. But on Tuesday, we have CPI, Consumer Price Index. Obviously, it's an inflation gauge for the market. So this is the biggest release next week. CPI, then PPI shortly thereafter on Wednesday session. Thursday, we have for routine data. And then Friday, I am requesting off. I'm requesting PTO. I will not be here for Friday the 16th. There's no stream on Friday the 16th, and there's no live trading on Friday the 16th for me. You got. I think the rest of the team will be on full force, but I'm not going to be here on Friday session. Okay, I'm requesting my PTO now in advance, so that nobody tries to make up anything and say, you can't take off. Okay. PTO denied. I knew you guys were going to say that. Anyway, so let's talk about our charts. Let's dive into it. Let's not play around with econ data anymore. Let's go into what's going on here. Okay. So on the SPY chart yesterday's session, what was this? It was terrible, right? I was trading this. I was in and out here. I was, I fell on my sword a few times. I got the long entry here. I longed at 689. I got the big move up, right? I made 10, 12, 13%, then stopped out, right? And then I shorted over here. I shorted on this candle, got some downside, and then bam, stop right out, right? So it was just stops and stops and stops and stops and no continuation, right? And even the one winning trade I had yesterday, the nice winning trade, again, stopped out at break even, right? So then no continuation yesterday's session. If you're looking for a trend, if you're a trend trader, on a consolidation day, you will get killed, right? But the good thing is if you have relatively tight stops, you don't get killed. You just take a little bit of a haircut, right? And so for me yesterday, I actually ended up taking a little bit of a green day after shorting this as well. So I basically caught a little bit of a short, the pop above the 690s, fell back below, and ended up getting a nice trade here into close. And this was my day yesterday. It was basically just 3 trades on SPY, 2 winning trades, and then one losing trade. But this was not a good day, right? Not in any sense it's a good day. You're not going to make a lot of money on sessions like this unless you are just trading the highs and trading the lows. And I saw many of you guys were doing that, by the way, which if you guys came out with all green trades yesterday, you are absolute animals, right? Because it was not easy. It was not an easy session. So definitely be proud of yourself if you came out even slightly green yesterday. Going into today's session here in SPY, SPY's chart is looks a little bit better than yesterday, right? Honestly, it looks better than yesterday. We are showing a little bit of strength here this morning, and we've reclaimed above a very key level, okay? The big thing that we have this morning is 691. This level of demand is the the Wednesday low, and it is the pre-market high or after hours high from Thursday session. It's also the breakout level from Tuesday. If you guys remember, we shorted on Tuesday session, we shorted right over here at, we shorted right over here on, where's my draw tool? Hold on a second. This is important, right? We shorted right over here on Tuesday session. This was our big supply. And then on Wednesday session, we longed over here, right? And then this morning, we are now above that level. The reason why I'm showing you this is to explain to you how important the 691 level is, right? If we are above this area here, this to me is a long side. This is a long side chart, right? Just simple as that. If we are above 691, this is a long side chart. And remember what I said? I said yesterday's session that everything was based upon 689. And if you use 689 as your level yesterday, which is what I did, right? I did what I said I was going to do yesterday. It was a bit choppy. Today's session, everything that I do is based upon 691. Let's see if this is a better chart today. But again, the same thing I said yesterday about 689 being our bull bear pivot. 691 is our bull bear pivot today, right? This is our new bull bear pivot. Hopefully it is less choppy today and doesn't do this, because this is not what you want to see with the bull bear pivot. This is what you want to see with the bull bear pivot. This is what you want to see with the bull bear pivot, not this, right? So let's see what happens today. 691 new bull bear pivot. And the reason why is because it's a very big inflection point. We've traded off it multiple times. You can see we saw a little bit of a downside break. You saw a little bit of a low here, a low here, a low here, a low here, and then, oh shit, we broke that low and potentially are turning this into what I would consider to be scientifically a wham, right? We've broken beneath, right? We saw some failures in the market come in, but then we reclaimed, and now we're back up and potentially squeezing for a push up higher into all-time highs. So this morning, we must understand this, that we are still in an uptrend, but use 691 as our bull bear pivot. Wait, a little bit of a wham here, but 691 is our bull bear pivot now. And the reason why I'm calling this a wham, for people who have no idea what I'm saying, the reason why this is a wham is because if you look at this chart, technically speaking, we did break downtrend or uptrend. This is an uptrend here, and then we broke beneath this low, forming a downtrend, but we didn't actually sell. We actually maintained and consolidated, and now we're gapping up. So this is a wham to the downside, getting shorts triggered to go short here, but then reclaiming, causing squeeze in the market. So right now we're bullish, but again, everything we do is guided by 691. If we fail below 691, you want to short it? Sure. If we pop higher to 7,000 ES, you want to short it? Sure, you can do that, right? But understand that we are technically back bullish as long as we're holding, at this point, 691. Okay, that's the big thing this morning. Okay, moving on. Yes, the level that I think I should have been a little bit more careful of, and this is where you have to be surgical on choppy days, right? Look, when it's a trend day, it's more forgiving, right? The market's more forgiving on trend days because you get the direction right, you hold it, is what it is. But on a consolidation day, there's no forgiveness with levels. You have to have everything down to science. And the one thing that I think I should have done a bit better yesterday was focus more on the 6950 level here in ES's chart. I didn't have this on my ES chart. If you guys recall, my level on ES was 69.57. That was my level here. And that was the close price of Wednesday the 7th. Now, since then, I've adjusted my level to 6950, which is the low of yesterday's session, barring that big downside open, but mostly the low of yesterday's session. And more importantly, it's the high from that Wednesday, the 31st, the last day of December session, right? I think this is a very important inflection point. And you can see yesterday's session, when we sold off into that level, you saw us find buyers there almost every single time. So you know today's session, it's pretty simple this, right? This is what it is. It's simply this. 691 SPY is 69.75 here ES. It's that Wednesday low. It's that Tuesday high, right? That big level we just spoke about. So this 69.75 level, yes, is still a big point in the market. But again, if you see us fail below this level, then you know we're selling off. But I would only expect a sell-off as far as this low over here, right? Because that was the area we maintained yesterday. And this is a big Brett's blinding us with science. Yeah, I have to be careful with my words. I feel like new people are never gonna watch this because they're gonna come into the stream and be like, "What the hell is this guy talking about?" But anyway, 69.50 here ES chart is our level, and we couldn't break beneath it yesterday. So let's just use that as our benchmark today. Let's not overcomplicate things and make it more difficult than it is. We couldn't break beneath 6950 yesterday. So if we are shorting under 69.76 today, we're targeting back into 69.50. If we hold this level here at 69.75, our target's back into the supply highs here or the Wednesday's highs. And that's just what it is, right? So for me, this is my expectation this morning, right? I'm using this level right here, dead smack in the middle as our bias. If we're above it, bullish. And this morning pre-market, we are bullish. That's what it is, okay? Keep that on the main watch today. SPY, ES levels are pretty clear going into our beautiful Friday morning, okay? Let's go into other names. Let's go into Qs now. On the QQQ, it is all about the 622. It's all about the 622, right? Yesterday, that's what it was about. Yesterday, too, was all about 622. We spoke about that pre-market. 622 was your big level. We said this is your bottom of your demand zone. And if we can get back above it, upside, we couldn't get back above it, but now we are back above it. And so this morning, our level and understanding here in Qs is if we are above 622, we're going to go higher to 625, right? That's just the most simple way of putting it, right? If we're above this level, we're going here. If we're below this level, we're going there. That's what the market's doing. The market is basically just ranging between levels here. If it holds 622, upside. If you fail below 622, we can technically short this and look for the move back down into 619.50, right? So again, our levels are clear here on Qs, are clear here at ES, and are clear here in SPY. I think, though, the one thing we must do stronger than yesterday, is have your ES levels be marked out properly on the SPY chart. And if you guys remember, I said 6950 in ES's chart. If you guys are an ES trader, you're probably going to realize that my level that I have here in SPY does not correlate there right now. Therefore, you need to do this today, right? This is what I'm doing right now is I'm literally drawing a whole zone around my 689 bull bear pivot from yesterday's session and extending it back $1, one full delta into 688.50. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I know this is an area I don't want to short into. This whole area over here is my, hey, don't buy puts in the zone, right? That's what it is. So when I see this, if I see us fell below here for whatever reason and see big downside, I know everything in my, all my senses are going to say short it, but I know, hey, don't short back into a big green zone, okay? So that's my big green zone today. Don't short back into there if we do pull back there. Obviously, if we are seeing us grind higher today, don't long back into 7,000 ES. This is a big failure point in the market. That's what I see this morning. Pretty clear levels going into our indices. Let's go over one more indice, guys. Let's go over the ETF of the IWM. The IWM is very strong, guys. This is a very, very strong chart. Now, what is going on here? Okay, at this point, it's just above it's above its major highs, right? It's above its Friday highs from mid-December, and at this point, it's kind of met the move. If you were longing IWM from anywhere, right? Anywhere from the 250 breakout, right? The 250 breakout over here. Well, your target was back into these highs over here, right? And I think I said this yesterday too. I forget what I said. I actually forget what I said yesterday in IWM, but I do remember saying that this is your area you want to see us pull into. And once it's done this, and that's it. The upside move has already happened. And at this point, if you are an IWM trader, you probably should be retiring those longs, right? As long as you and at this point, I mean, look, if you want to look for re-entry longs, it's back over here. So I will be retiring current longs and looking for re-entry longs here at 257. If we can pull back into 257 today here at IWM, I would look for longs there. That's what it is. So here's my new level on the IWM is I would be certainly a profit taker over highs on longs, and I would be looking for a pullback for a higher low to form and an upside trade, right? Again, the move, if you are a bull, this is important. If you are a bull from here, or a bull from here, or a bull from here, right? Your target has and always has been this high over here, right? Because this is the most clear structure. Most smart money will say, okay, this is the target for longs. And so a break above this gets retail all horned up. And what's going to happen is, and this is what I would argue is the most likely scenario on IWM now, is it probably gives you some sort of fake breakout, right? And that fake breakout is going to get faded and you'll see downside, right? I don't know if that's going to happen today and Friday, but it could happen on a Monday, Tuesday session of next week. But again, I would expect this. Now that it's met the extension move into its highs, this here is just retail, hey, buy me, right? They're gonna buy it, and then it's gonna do this. So again, if I'm looking for longs anywhere, I want to see a substantial hold here at the previous set of highs. If that comes in, then you can look for a long there for a reentry. Or you look for a big build here. You don't long the big build, then you only long the pullback to this 258 level, which again could be a nice long entry. But for now, I would steer clear of IWM, especially on breakouts like this, because this to me looks like a clear trap. That's just my 2 cents though. Okay, let's go over some other names, guys. Let's talk about some other equities today. We have a lot to go over on the equity side. Let's dive into our first ticker, the Appler. Okay, so Apple almost stopped me out yesterday. I think so far in 2025, I ran through our data. I've given out 12 equity trades during 2025, 12 position equity trades. So figure, Target, figure Amazon, figure SoFi, right? Remember those names you spoke about? We've gone through 12 of them. I've won 11 out of the 12 of them. This is the 12th one right here. And this is the one that I thought I was gonna get stopped out yesterday on this one, but I did not get stopped out yet. So I'm okay so far. But my stop, just so you guys know, is 256. I don't know if anyone cares. Look, don't go full port these things. Don't go crazy. I'm just giving you data and showing how these things usually work. But again, I may get stopped out, and I don't want you guys to be oversized. And then Tom, Dick, and Harry are going to come in and say I lost I lost the whole retirement. I lost my retirement fund, because I don't even think I have proper disclosures on the YouTube. So I shouldn't even be saying stuff. But again, I am long Apple. It doesn't mean you are long Apple. You could be short Apple for all you want, right? But the reason why, just so you understand, was because it's just a break and retest. If I call myself a break and retest trader, if I call myself someone who trades the break and retest, then if I don't take this trade, then what am I? I think I'm more of a muppet than anyone, right? You can see this is your clear high, this is your clear high, and this is your clear low, right? If this can begin to form here a low at 259, 260, or 262, this whole zone over here, then it's going to go back into these highs over here, right? That's just what it is. And again, it doesn't look sexy right now, but as it begins to play out, you're going to see, does this hold? If it holds, it's going to go back into 265 plus, right? So let's see what happens here in Apple. In the short term, however, if you are a short-term trader, because I know many of you guys are here short-term, what are we looking for today? Well, today's session, if you're short-term trading, the same thing as yesterday. You want to see us probably back above 261, right? You want to see us back above 261 or 260, this whole zone over here. If you can see us build back above this zone, then I would look for a continuation trade higher back into 264, right? So if we can build this above these highs over here, upside back into 264, back into that Wednesday's highs, and this would be a nice short-term scalp today. So the long-term idea is there. The short-term idea is also there. Let's see what happens today. But you really want to see it build above these highs. If it can build above the pre-market highs and yesterday's close price, then I think we'll see some upside here back into 264. Okay, that's the Apple trade. Okay, moving on. Nvidia. So Nvidia yesterday, I think one of the most interesting charts, because Nvidia was selling off so aggressively, and the SPY chart sold off but didn't really sell off very much. And it's usually not the case. Usually you see tech moving the market, right? And if you look back at yesterday's session, and if you were aware of what happened yesterday, it wasn't tech that moved the market. It was actually XLF. XLF was really strong. XLE was really strong. And you even had names like Target, TGT. By the way, Target, you guys, there are people in the chat who said, don't long Target. Target's a bad company to long. Look at Target now, by the way. And this is one of the equity trades that we were in on Target, right? Every day we were talking about Target sitting in this green demand zone. We sat in this green demand zone for a long time, and we were talking about TGT for a long time. How many of you guys actually traded TGT? I'm just curious. I just lost all my my thoughts on what ticker was even going over. I don't even know why I somehow ended up over here in TGT. Makes no sense. But it was a happy day for me yesterday. That was just it was the first day in a while where I was able to get some profit off on TGT, and it was the biggest equity trade I've ever had. This maybe Nvidia was right there, but this is the second biggest trade I've ever had in terms of equity trades, and this was really nice for me. But what am I doing over here? It makes no sense. I just lost complete thought. What was I even? I was on. Wow, that's crazy. What was I just on? What was I just on? I was on Nvidia. Okay, that's crazy. All right, so on the Nvidia chart, back to this chart. On this chart, the market was selling off. The market was not selling off while Nvidia was selling off, and that was interesting because usually you don't see that, right? And here this morning on Nvidia, the question is, what does it do with this level right here? If this can, yeah, I gotta stay out of my back. If this can hold above 186 today, this is your long, right? The market will move higher today. If Nvidia can maintain 186 today, if the weakest name from yesterday's session holds strong today, then the market moves higher, right? And this is a very clear it's a very clear understanding today's session. If this can hold 186, this is going to go back into 189, and the market's going to rip today. If it fails 186 here and perhaps does a little bit of a bear flag, if this does a little bit of a bear flag into our 186 level today and sees downside, the market's going to sell off, right? So we have a very clear level in Nvidia. And even if you don't intend to trade Nvidia, even if you are an ES trader, you're an ES trader, all you do is trade ES, you got to watch Nvidia today because Nvidia is going to tell us what the ES is going to do. Watch and see what this chart does at 186. Does it reclaim 5 minutes in the market open, or does it fail back below and bear flag, right? Because 186 fails, you know where this chart's going to. If 186 fails, we're going into 181. If 186 holds, we're going into 189, and this is going to cause the market to move with it. Obviously, watch Nvidia today. Big name, okay? Moving on, guys. We got to go fast. We're missing so much stuff today. AMD. AMD also weak, right? AMD was a weak name. And if you guys remember, I actually longed this chart over here on that Monday session. It was Monday session, and we got out of that chart so fast once the chart didn't hold up. And look how crazy this chart sold off since then. So insane execution on that part. Good thing we sold that, right? No back holding on AMD. Now here in this chart this morning, obviously we're back at demand. I don't know what we do here, right? Now, Nvidia, I have a very clear bias. This morning on AMD, it's not so clear to me, so I would stay away from it. I would say your one clear level to watch out for today's session, though, is watch and see if it can get back above the high or the lows from this Wednesday session. Wednesday session, 207 lows. That's your level today. If 207 can reclaim, 207 is the breakdown level from yesterday's session as well, then perhaps there is some upside, right? But this is a level we have to hold for bull bias. 207, pretty clear inflection point. The lows of Wednesday and that breakdown level, the breakdown point from our Thursday session. 207, big inflection point. Okay, let's move on, guys. Let's go over a few other names. Let's go over Tesla. Tesla strong, right? I remember I said this. I said that there's going to be value somewhere. It's just a matter of how able you are to sift through the data. Now here on yesterday's session on Tesla, you can see 438 is your level. We're tapping pre-market. It's the high from Wednesday. It's the breakdown point from Tuesday, and it's essentially the low from that Friday session. The reason why I say it's essentially that low is because if you go back into that Friday session and see like how we responded to this 438 area, just look over here. Go into the session right over here. You'll see what I'm talking about, right? You see how these reactions coming into 438 and we closed right at that point. So that's why this 438 point today is really important. Most importantly, because of this Wednesday high, right? And so if you look at it now, I know that even though Tesla had some upside yesterday, I don't want to be along in this chart until it can break above at least 438, right? If 438 breaks, upside back into 450. That's the only thing I have here on Tesla's chart, okay? Moving on, guys. Let's go over Amazon. Amazon chart. Amazon still has not pulled back. Amazon pullbacks are still valid. I am not a long here, though. I said this yesterday, and I'll repeat it again. I am not a long here into breakouts on Amazon. I want to see a pullback to support, right? And maybe that's the wrong idea. Maybe it's the wrong idea, but I'll stand by it. And I don't mind missing the trade because remember what I said. I said on Thursday session, I said I would not long Amazon. I said this yesterday. And I'll just repeat what we mentioned. I said I would not long Amazon into these supply highs. I would not do it. And if you did that yesterday's session, if you longed Amazon into supply highs, technically it worked, right? Technically, longing into supply highs actually resulted in profit. So the ideas we mentioned in Amazon, even though it didn't technically result in anything, it still is something I stand by, right? I don't want to be longing Amazon back into these supply highs, even above it. I'm not longing it here. It's just too extended for me to go long in this chart. At this point, I will profit on my Amazon equity, right? If you guys remember, back during December, we were longing Amazon over here. Back during November, we were longing Amazon over here. I'm not chasing it over here right now. I would rather wait for pullback longs on intraday timeframes than catch re-entries. Or if I don't catch a re-entry, I will just hold my Amazon equity for the move back in the highs because I know this. I can almost promise you this. Amazon goes here, right? At some point this year, it's going to go here with a very high likelihood. Very, very high likelihood. Probably even this month, right? But again, this is where it's going to. It doesn't mean I buy calls intraday at random points. I hold my equity, right? I hold my shares. I hold maybe my swing trades if I have swing trades open, but I'm not going to be buying in a 248 highs, 247 highs without a dip to rip into, right? And the dip to rip into on Amazon is going to be back at these highs. I would say at least at this point now, if you're looking for re-entry, at least at least 243, right? At least that 243 is a pullback long spot. That's the first pullback long spot. And the second pullback long spot, which is the area I'm watching, is 239. Again, I don't want to be so biased when I tell you guys don't long here. That I want you guys to know where the levels are and you can make the decision yourself. But I will explain what I'm doing. And sometimes if you like are wondering, Brett, why are you not longing Amazon at 243 if you said this is a long spot? Because my long spot is 239. The level is 243 though. So if you want to long at the level because you believe it's going to hold there, then absolutely trade your plan, execute your game plan. But again, this would be where I would be looking for longs, and that maybe is the wrong idea. But let's see what happens. Okay, moving on. Let's go over two more tickers quick, guys. Two more tickers quick. Palantir. We were right about Palantir too. I remember we talked about this Palantir. I think Mike was a happy camper yesterday. He got a nice little beautiful trade yesterday in Palantir. That was the trade of the day yesterday, was the rejection play at the highs. And we were speaking about this yesterday's session with the lack of buyers here, and that's what caused downside. Now you can see Palantir this morning is still holding 177, right? So I would be careful. I mean, honestly, this demand is still demand below. It's still a green band in my chart, so be aware of that. Be a profit taker there. Move stops down. That's the only thing you do, right? Palantir 177, pretty big level. Okay. Meta. This is something I definitely do not intend to trade today, but Meta is holding support, right? It's just wham-whammed under 640. This to me is a long today. As long as it's holding 640, I think it's probably a long. 640 holds, it goes back to 655. That's what I see here in this chart. Again, intraday things may happen, right? But as long as we're holding 640, this to me is a long. Okay, as long as we're holding this demand right here, this white line right here, we are bullish. Okay, that's what it is. Why? Because we just basically wham-whammed under lows, causing upside today. That's what I would think today. Let's see what happens, how it plays out. Is there an entry? I don't know. You guys have to find entries yourself. Guys, that's it for me today. I went over a lot this morning. It's Friday. Trade safe, trade smart, do the right thing. If you're green this week, if you had a tough day yesterday and you're green this week, you want to just take it easy today, take it easy, right? Don't give it all back on this Friday session. Be smart about what you do. Be smart about the trades you make. And that's it. That's all you can do for 2026. I'll see you guys all for live trading. If not, I will see you on Monday. Have a beautiful and safe trading session. Bye, guys.